Hello, good evening, guys. I am here back again with a beautiful concept, and that is stroke syndromes. Stroke syndromes are like a very big, messy topic, and people fear of it. But it's a very simple topic to crack a NEET PG MCQ or a AIMS MCQ. Only thing you have to do is you have to remember few things in each syndrome so that you can crack the question. First, let's start with this lateral syndromes. You assume this as a pons, this is a medulla, this is the lateral side, and this is the medial side, right? Now, in the lateral pons, you remember the lateral side of the pons and medulla, you remember 5 is a larger one. It extends from the above to downwards. It extends in pons as well as medulla. One simple trick you have to remember is 4 nerves in midbrain, 4 nerves in pons, 4 nerves in medulla. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's a basic simple thing. 4, 4, 4, 4 nuclei present in each area. 4 in midbrain, 4 in pons, 4 in medulla. But among them, 5th nucleus is a very large nucleus. 5 has many nuclei. In that, the main nucleus, trigeminal nucleus, will extend from pons up to medulla. So any stroke syndrome involving lateral side of pons or medulla, you'll have a features of 5th nerve. Now the thing is, you have to eliminate the answers. You remember this? You have to eliminate the answer. So if the question mentioned 5 or 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 5 to 12, I mean near 5 to 12, you just remember they are not related to any midbrain syndromes. They are only related to pons and medulla. If the question mentioned 5, the syndrome is only on the lateral side. Remember, the lateral side, so you can eliminate 2 options. You think now the lateral side. Yes, the lateral side. Either it be a lateral pontine syndrome, either it be a lateral medullary syndrome. Both of them 5th nerve features are mentioned. Now, what is the 5th nerve feature? You know what is the 5th nerve feature? It is a spinal trigeminal nucleus, and its tracts extend from pons to medulla. Na? The 5th nerve feature is, the question mentioned, all cranial nerves are ipsilateral. You know that, except the 4th nerve, which is contralateral. You also know that. So the question mentions ipsilateral loss of pain and temperature sensation from the face. It will mention that. If the question mentioned ipsilateral loss of pain and temperature from the face, 5th nerve is involved. If the 5th nerve is involved, midbrain is cancelled. Midbrain is out of the answers. Now you think about pons and medulla. In pons and medulla, how you differentiate between the both? Now, here comes the trick. The problem here is both pons and medulla also have spinothalamic tract and sympathetic fibers and cerebellar peduncles. You know, because of this lateral spinothalamic tract, as it decussets in spinal cord, it carries the contralateral fibers. Okay, it carries the contralateral fibers. So opposite side, loss of pain and temperature from the trunk and extremities are there, and ipsilateral loss of pain and temperature from the face is there in both pontine and medullary syndromes. And even with sympathetic fibers involved in both pontine and medullary syndromes, lateral pontine and lateral medullary syndromes, you will have a Horner syndrome. And because of cerebellar peduncles involved in both of them, there will be a ataxia. limb ataxia. Okay, but it carries the ipsilateral fibers, na? So ipsilateral limb ataxia. You remember, you can't think all of this. Just you remember 2 points. By fifth nerve, you eliminated the midbrain. You came to pons and medulla. By fifth nerve, you eliminated the medial side. You came to lateral side. So you don't think about anything. He will mention all the stuff regarding spinothalamic tract, contralateral loss, ipsilateral loss, this. He'll mention that. But you just remember, if the seventh nerve is involved, that is little pons. First, you decided whether it is a midbrain or pons or medulla. You came to pons and medulla, and you came that it is a lateral one. So by this, next rule out medulla by if seventh nerve is involved. Seventh nerve is involved means it's definitely a pontine syndrome. If 9, 10, 11 are involved, it is definitely a medullary syndrome. What are the features of seventh nerve? If seventh nerve is involved, all cranial nerves are ipsilateral except for, same like fifth nerve. If the seventh nerve is involved, ipsilateral paralysis of upper and lower face will be there. Ipsilateral paralysis of upper and lower face will be there. If fifth nerve is involved, ipsilateral loss of pain and temperature sensation will be there. If seventh nerve is involved, ipsilateral paralysis of upper and lower face. Ipsilateral seventh nerve also supplies to lacrimal glands and salivary glands. Ipsilateral loss of lacrimation and salivation will be there, and it also supplies tongue for the taste, anterior two-third of the tongue. Ipsilateral loss of taste will be there, and it also supplies the cornea. So corneal reflex will be absent. If these 4 points are mentioned in your question, directly go to lateral pontine syndrome. Direct answer. If seventh nerve points regarding seventh nerve, corneal reflex absent, ipsilateral paralysis of the face, ipsilateral loss of lacrimation and salivation, ipsilateral loss of taste is mentioned, go for lateral pontine syndrome. Nothing to worry. Directly go for lateral pontine syndrome. If, one more point, if he didn't mention about the seventh nerve, how to rule out whether it is a pons or medulla? See here, C's. Eighth nerve also will be present in both pons and medulla, eighth nerve nucleus also, especially vestibular nucleus. But this cochlear nucleus is only present in the pons. Got it? Only present in the pons. So to rule out the answer, if seventh nerve features are not given in the question, search for cochlear nucleus features. If cochlear nuclei is involved, what you will have? Hearing loss, obviously. Which hearing loss? All cranial nerves are ipsilateral except fourth. So cochlear nucleus also ipsilateral. So ipsilateral hearing loss will be there. Simple thing. You rule out midbrain by fifth nerve. You rule out medulla by seventh and cochlear nucleus features. Got it? I will mention all other features. Don't remember anything. Just you can mark the answer by just remembering 2 features. Fifth nerve plus seventh nerve, lateral pons. Fifth nerve plus cochlear nucleus, lateral pons. Now come to medulla. Fifth nerve and 9th and 11. 9th and 11. What is 9th and 11? What is 9th and 11? 9th and 11 is a nucleus ambiguous. Vagus nerve involved. Glossopharyngeal nerve involved. So because of this nucleus ambiguous is involved, now the features will be, all cranial nerves are ipsilateral. So ipsilateral loss of laryngeal, pharyngeal and palate paralysis. Ipsilateral, laryngeal, pharyngeal and palatal paralysis will be there. So because of that, he will have the dysphagia. Gag reflex is absent. And larynx is also gone. Hoarseness will be there. So the patient measure, the question mentions ipsilateral dysphagia, ipsilateral hoarseness, ipsilateral like gag reflex absent, and paralysis, hemiparalysis of palate, larynx and pharynx is mentioned, directly go for lateral medullary syndrome. So here you pictorically remember that 5 is lateral, 7 is lateral, 8 is lateral, 9, 10, 11 is lateral. So by ruling out midbrain because of 5, by ruling out medulla by 5 plus 7 or 5 plus cochlear, now rule out pons by 5 plus 9, 10, 11. So easy to remember. Don't bother about STT and sympathetic fibers and cerebellar peduncle. You just have to remember they are lateral. So that if the question mentions like what are the following features of this syndrome except, all except, you have to rule out by these, remembering these. So easily you remember pons and medulla. Easily you can differentiate. Now just come to medial side. Medial side, you are left with two nerves, 6 and 12, right? If sixth nerve is involved, it is medial pons. If 12th nerve is involved, it is medial medulla. Obviously, simply you can differentiate by just two nerve features. 6, 12 is medial. 6 2s are 12, 6 is in pons, 12 is in medulla. So 6 nerve features, what are the 6 nerve features? 6 nerve supplies, LR6, lateral rectus. There will be strabismus. The affected eye looks down and towards the nose. In previous video, I mentioned about what are the eye movements and its disorders. Simply by that feature, by sixth nerve is involved, he will mention eye is rolled down and towards the nose. Easily you can mark it as a medial pontine syndrome. Now come to if 12th nerve is involved. If 12th nerve is involved, the hypoglossal nucleus, nerve fibers, tongue is deviated to the side of the infarct on protrusion because of ipsilateral muscle weakness. That means 12th nerve supplies the muscles of tongue ipsilaterally. Like right side hypoglossal supplies right side tongue fibers. The function of tongue muscle fibers is to push the tongue to opposite side. That means both sides muscles work oppositely and they make tongue to be align in midline. So the function of a tongue fiber is to push opposite side. If there is an infarct and that hypoglossal nucleus is involved, because of that ipsilateral tongue fibers will be weaker and they can't push that much to the opposite side. So opposite tongue fibers are more stronger. They will push towards the side of infarct. Simple as that. By these two features, you can mark the question whether it is a medial pontine syndrome or medial medullary syndrome. It's as easy as that, but you have to remember other features also. Corticospinal tract also travels through medial part of pons and medulla as it decursate in pyramids. So it also carries contralateral fibers. What it will do? It will cause limb weakness, obviously, because of the corticospinal tracts from cortex to spine. They will cause limb weakness of the contralateral side, obviously. And if the medial meniscus is involved, so medial meniscus means dorsal column medial meniscus system, because of that that is gone. Touch, proprioception, vibration, these all functions are gone on the contralateral side, obviously, because it also decussates in medulla. So it obviously causes contralateral problem. In the lower part of medulla it will decussate. So whether it is affected in pons or medulla, this medial meniscus will cause contralateral problem. Same as that corticospinal tract. Corticospinal tract, if it is involved, it is a pyramidal tract, so it will cause limb weakness. As it is a dorsal column medial lemniscus system, it is involved, it will cause contralateral loss of proprioception, vibration, touch and all. It's as simple as that. You can easily now remember pons and medullary syndrome. I'll once wrap up it right here. If the question mentioned fifth nerve involvement, that means you go for not midbrain. It is definitely a pons or medulla, and definitely it is a lateral side, lateral pontine syndrome or lateral medullary syndrome. Then by seventh nerve and cochlear, you put it as a lateral pontine syndrome. By 9, 10, 11 involvement, you put it as a lateral medullary syndrome. And the same stuff will be there. STT is involved, sympathetic fibers are involved, cerebellar peduncles are involved. By all these features, you can confirm it is a lateral pontine or lateral medullary syndrome. Now here comes here. The lateral medullary syndrome is also called as Wallenberg syndrome, which is asked n number of times. So the main crux here is you should remember Wallenberg syndrome, whatever may be the reason, you must remember the Wallenberg syndrome because it's asked 100 times. Wallenberg syndrome means it is in the lateral medullary syndrome. In this, fifth nerve is involved, 9, 10, 11 are involved, vestibular nucleus is involved, STT is involved, sympathetic fibers are involved, cerebellar peduncles are involved. You can't remember all this stuff. If not, just rule out Wallenberg by 9, 10, 11 involvement. That's it. 5 plus 9, 10, 11. That's it. Now, here comes to medial medulla. Medial medulla, in medial side. By just two nuclei, 6 and 12, you can rule out that it is a medial side one. If the 6th nerve is involved, it's a pons. 12th nerve is involved, that is medulla. You have to remember arteries here. Lateral medulla, it is a posterior inferior cerebellar artery. Medial medulla, it is an anterior spinal artery. You just remember these because below this cerebellum is there. So posterior inferior cerebellar artery causes lateral medullary syndrome. Now anterior spinal causes medial medullary syndrome. That's it. It is easy. Just come to the last syndrome, which is a midbrain syndrome, that is Weber syndrome. Weber syndrome is also very, very important along with Wallenberg syndrome. Weber syndrome is a midbrain syndrome. Just by remembering that the third nerve is involved, that is midbrain. Sure. Third nerve is involved, that is definitely a midbrain. That means oculomotor nerve is involved. Oculomotor nerve, what it causes? The pupil is fixed, pointed down and out. If the pupil is pointed down and in, that is 6th nerve palsy. If the pupil pointed down and out, that is third nerve palsy, as it is an oculomotor nerve. Oculomotor nerve is involved, that is Weber syndrome. Rule out that. If fifth nerve is involved, that is lateral pons or lateral medulla. Along with 7 and 9, 10, 11, you rule out what it is. If sixth nerve is involved, it's medial pons. 12th nerve is involved, medial medulla. One and only one. Third nerve is involved, that is Weber. How you remember? Weber, W, you look at as 3. E will be looked at as 3. B, there is a 3 in it. And again E, there is a 3 in it. Weber, all have 3. By simply remembering it, third nerve is involved here. Now, along with the third nerve, there are few other tracts are involved here. That is substantia nigra. Oh, you remember this word somewhere. You remember this word somewhere. Substantia nigra. Substantia nigra is nothing but, if it is involved, it has a lot of dopamine. Dopamine will be gone. And what it will be? Then Parkinsonism will be there. Obviously, Parkinsonism will be there. Substantia nigra is involved. Now, corticospinal and corticobulbar tracts. You know, corticospinal tracts and corticobulbar tracts are started at cortex. They'll be like fanned out. They come down into this midbrain. They run like this all over the midbrain. They will shrink. They'll turn medially in the pons and medulla. They'll run down and they decussate below the medulla, forming pyramids. So that is why called the pyramidal tracts. So corticospinal and corticobulbar tracts are fanned out all over the midbrain, so they are also involved. Then again comes our theory. The question always mention this: contralateral hemiparesis and typical upper motor nerve findings are there. So as corticobulbar tract is involved, facial muscles, contralateral facial muscles, especially lower facial muscles. Why lower facial muscles? Because corticobulbar tract is an human lesion. Here seventh nerve is an element lesion. So ipsilateral phase is involved. If contralateral lower face is involved, that is Weber syndrome. If ipsilateral face is involved, that is Pontine syndrome. Here two catch points: one with third nerve and one with human and element lesion of seventh nerve. You can easily eliminate whether it is a Weber syndrome or a Pontine syndrome. So here goes our discussion. I'll now wrap up everything here. Simply remember Weber third nerve, Weber human of facial nerve, all other nuclei also, especially facial, and substantia nigra, Parkinsonism, Weber. Now if fifth nerve is involved, that is definitely a lateral side, either pontine or medulla. Along with that, if seventh nerve or cochlear nucleases are involved, that is pons. If along with that 9, 10, 11 are involved, that is medulla. If medial pons, sixth nerve, medial medulla, 12th nerve, CST and medial lemniscus are common. Here in the Weber syndrome, I have to mention one point: posterior cerebral artery is involved. If posterior inferior cerebellar artery is involved, that is Wallenberg. If posterior cerebral artery is involved, that is Weber, B cerebral, right? If anterior spinal artery is involved, that is medial medullary syndrome. Here I'll wrap up this session. Hope you like it. Hope I simplified it so easily you can answer the questions regarding syndromes. Don't mug up. Don't muck up everything. Just by simple tricks you can eliminate everything. Please subscribe our YouTube channel, like, share, everything. Everyone will tell that. Please do that. Thank you. Happy learning. Bye bye.